Can you guess what the most watched movie was on streaming this past week? Here are the top 10 according to Just Watch. At number 10 was Now You See Me, which is down 2 spots from the previous week, and I honestly think this first one still holds up as like a fun mystery heist movie. At number 9 is Zach Cregger's Weapons, also down 2 spots from the previous week, and I'm glad to see the massive staying power that this movie has had. Joining the list at number 8 is After the Hunt, which was added to Prime Video this past week, and while it's definitely my least favorite film from Luca Guadagnino by a mile, I still think it gets a little bit too much hate. Also joining the list at number 7 is The Roses, a fun, unromantic comedy starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman that does a great job remaking The War of the Roses. This is definitely one of the most underrated comedies of the year. Holding the number 6 spot for the second week in a row is Nobody 2. It's nowhere near something like John Wick in terms of quality, but I still think it could turn into a fun action franchise. And speaking of action movies in the vein of John Wick, joining the list at number 5 is Sisu, which coincides with the release of its sequel in theaters this past weekend. At number 4 is Train Dreams, a movie that's been heralded by critics as one of the best and most emotionally devastating movies of the year. I'm very excited to finally check it out this weekend. Frankenstein has held the number 1 spot for 2 weeks in a row, and now it gets bumped down slightly to number 3. But to me, that's just a testament of how much people like this movie. It's one of the best of the year, and clearly people are still watching it. But jumping up 3 spots from the last week is Ari Aster's Eddington at number 2, and as controversial as this film may be, I can understand why it's doing so well. I know people who never go to the movies that went out to see this just because of the interesting premise. But skyrocketing to number 1 this week, no surprise, is Wicked.